Welcome, this is Richie from Driftomaniacs. The Arrma Nero or the ARRMA OutCast? Which one should you buy? Well, I'm lucky enough to own both of these cars, and this is my sort of real life running report. I have videos already online of the Arrma Nero here and of the OutCast, so you can actually see them in action. This is more about what you actually get for your money, what are the pluses and minus points of both cars. So let's have a quick look around. Well, the Arrma OutCast and the Arrma Nero 6S, both different, slightly different price points. $499 for the OutCast, $599 for the Nero. The Nero was much more expensive when it first came out, particularly for the model with the diff brain. You can buy a model without the diff brain. I personally wouldn't do it, as I want to go on and explain in just a minute. Other than that, what are the differences between them? Well, both cars are four-wheel drive, independent suspension, all round. Both also run brushless motors and can be powered by up to 6S, 4S as the minimum. Key thing on these cars when running them is the batteries have got to be 35C or above. If you run batteries of a lower C rating than that, expect to damage the battery. Both cars are also similar. This one has 3 diffs. This one has 3 diffs, except these 3 electronically controlled from your transmitter. You can lock or loosen each of the differentials kind of independently. There's 4 different modes that this car has, from all 4 wheels being locked. For crawling mode, it doesn't really crawl very well. I would say there is just too much power for it to be effective at crawling on here. You got wheelie mode, where it will transmit most of the power to the back. You got drift mode. Absolutely great fun if you love steering a car on the throttle. The final mode on this car is called Blast Mode officially. I've nicknamed it Beast Mode before. To put all 3 diffs unlocked, the car is an absolute hoot to drive on there. You will note on here the wheelie bar. This is not fitted as standard. I would highly advise that you buy this as an option if you don't want to get a body looking like this. You will note on the OutCast the wheelie bar is set much higher. This thing is designed to pull wheelies, and this is designed to run for long fast wheelies rather than designed to kind of stop them, which I'll put it lower on the Nero on here. It will come up higher than that, but still not to the height of the one I found on the OutCast here. I'm going to move the camera around the front, and just so you can see the attitude of the cars from there. Well, this is the Nero. You will note the stance of the car varies slightly from the OutCast. The OutCast is sitting just that little bit lower on here, which does make the world of difference towards its handling, particularly its turning. The OutCast is simply phenomenal at turning. It's like it's had fun inbuilt to the thing. The Nero, rewarding when you get it right, a little bit more work than the OutCast though. The Nero can put down its power a little bit more easily, I would say, than the OutCast, predominantly due to its internal weight distribution, where the whole layout of the thing, etc. On there, and the diff setup may be slightly differently. Certainly with the 3 diffs open, it appears to rapidly accelerate once you got it down, with less tendency to wheelie than the OutCast, which has been designed to wheelie. Under braking, the OutCast is much better because it weighs several pounds less than the Nero. Likewise, it accelerates very quickly. I suppose one of the upsides and the downsides to that is the ability to pop the wheelie at any speed, particularly with the 16-tooth pinion. You can just be going along at crazy speed, give it full throttle, bang, wheelies. The Nero, less tendency to wheelie, but you'll still need that wheelie bar, pretty much essential on there. Under braking, the Nero does take longer because it weighs several pounds more in weight than the OutCast does. Accordingly, the OutCast will accelerate quite quickly, but as I said, you will have that tendency there to wheel. All in all, I would say the Nero deploys its power maybe slightly better, well, no, slightly better, in a different way to the OutCast does. They both got their own advantages and disadvantages. Taking a quick look at the Nero here, you will see this body has suffered quite a bit of damages and scratches. In fact, the back is nearly worn out here on the corners. In the main, a lot of this damage occurred before I got the wheelie bar fitted. It will still turn on its back on full throttle without even being in wheelie mode if you're not careful. The OutCast here, the body is much tougher. I have developed one little crack at the back here, which I'm seeing other people gaining their cracks in the same place. Other bodywork wise, these two little wing mounts, these circles, both of them have popped off. I replaced this one with the one from my Typhon, and then this one promptly popped off as well. So this is maybe something that ARRMA are looking at addressing, or not, as the case may be. Okay, just a quick scan around the business end of the back of both cars. You'll notice the red drive shafts on the Nero. On the Nero Big Rock, you will find that both of these are sort of a stainless steel colour in appearance. Okay, if you're buying a Nero second hand, look out for the blue body. Look underneath the skin in the car to check the thing has been fitted with the 3 diff brains from stock as out the factory, and that somebody has not just fitted one of the blue bodies to try and pass off a non-diff brain car as a diff brain car. Well, tyre wear. The Nero ones here on the right, they do balloon massively at high speed, far less so on the ones on the Outcast. I put the 16-tooth Pinion on this car, and they're still not ballooning anywhere near as much as the Nero ones does on the highest 17-tooth Pinion fitted to the Nero. Okay, I would just say both of these cars come with optional pinions. The Outcast here has a 16-tooth Pinion you can fit, and the Nero has a 17-tooth Pinion you can fit. The time to fit this on the Outcast, probably around about 10 to 15 minutes work. On the Nero, probably about 45 minutes to an hour the first time you do it. Looking under the skin of both the cars with the bodies off, first of all with the Nero, the obvious inboard to suspension being the major difference between the Outcast here. So technically much easier to work on the Outcast. I've certainly found it the easier out of the two cars when it comes to spannering. If you're new to RC, personally I would recommend getting the Outcast. The Nero has got a lot going for it, but it's a lot harder to work on than the Outcast is. Okay, both cars have much better battery compartments than I hear ARRMA cars had of old. On the Nero they're fitted on the right hand side and the left hand side. You've got your power on switch here. They slide in from underneath the car. Moving over to the Outcast, you've got far more room than I hear when certain of the older ARRMA cars on here. You've got a fully adjustable battery tray up and down on here. You've got check straps which you can locate your 2 batteries in there. You can fit 6S, any size packs pretty much in this Outcast without any problems at all. Or certainly the ones I found, and I use fairly big packs. Okay, motor much easier to get to, everything accessible on there. Steering, servo, etc. Everything on the Nero is a little bit harder to get to. Most of it, to get to anything, you have to take this plate off to access everything from underneath. Just 3 screws holding it on there, so no big issue on there. The issue is the number of screws required to adjust anything. Built very well, built very strong. If you're have existing RC cars, then I would think you wouldn't find working on this too much of an issue, but it will take you considerably longer than working on the Outcast. Well, when it comes to the all-important fun factor, I would say the Nero has it by the bucket load. This suspension makes the thing handle very well, particularly at high speed. You really can motor plough through anything with this. Seems to have a lot of traction, even though these tyres don't seem to have the traction of these tyres. I've not had the Outcast for too long. Initial thoughts are this is so much fun for the money. If budget is an issue and you've not quite got that $100 to spend, buy this one. Much easier to work on, everything far more accessible than on the Nero. If you've got the bigger budget, the extra $100 for the one model with the diff brain here with the 3 different electronically controllable diffs, you can adjust the whole attitude of the car all on the fly from the transmitter. Very easy to do, and as I said, when you switch the thing into drift mode, an absolute blast to drive on, particularly on loose gravel. Well, in terms of day-to-day running, not too many issues with the Nero. The battery compartments are slightly less accessible than the one on the Outcast on here. One of the things I have found, the wheels on the Outcast, very hard to remove. The Nero ones come off nice and easily. A wheel nut could fall off the Outcast and the thing would still keep driving with all 4 wheels on. Not a problem there. It does pick up more dirt in day-to-day running than the Nero does, despite the sort of various guards around the car there. Overall though, very, very pleased with the Outcast. It is just as much fun to drive as you may have seen in some of my videos, some of other people's videos out there. An absolute blast, and you will not be disappointed if you get one of these whatsoever. As I say, both cars are powered by Success. They're both claimed to be 60 miles an hour capable. I've put the 16-tooth Pinion in the Outcast, which is the higher speed Pinion. I've not done a top speed run on that. The car didn't quite feel as stable and as firmly planted as the Nero did at the higher speed. In the interest of not wrecking anything, not bashing, you know, I'm not going to do a high speed run and risk major damage to the car just for the sake of seeing how fast it will go. But I'm sure it is capable of the 60 mile an hour speed on there. I know the Nero is more than capable of the 60 miles an hour. Well, in conclusion, Christmas is coming. Which one of these cars should you get, the Nero or the Outcast? My preference at the minute is maybe swinging, if I was to buy one, either one from new, towards getting the Outcast. If you can get one, that is. They are an extremely short supply. In general, this thing is more fun. It turns just ridiculously quickly. The handling is very, very good. You can pull 100-foot plus wheelies with ease on this thing. You will have an absolute blast driving this. You will do on the Nero. It handles I would say the higher speed a little bit better. However, it's harder to work on. If you hit something, you're going to cause much more damage, and it's going to be a lot harder to fit everything on there to repair it than if you have a big off with the Outcast. Well, I hope you like this review, and I hope it's helpful in your decision-making process as to which of these ARRMA vehicles to buy. If you did, then please do subscribe, and please check out my runtime videos of both these cars in action. Thanks for watching. Well, if you like our Driftomaniacs videos, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and on YouTube. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.